You are listening to In Response, a legacy podcast. A show where three handsome guys talk about their favorite Magic the Gathering format, Legacy. This show is brought to you by queerness@anycost.com and austrian-legacy.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/response_legacy. And now, lean back and enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 58th episode, Wilds of ELM-draine of
In Response,
a legacy podcast.
I'm Philipp Klein
I am Daniel.
And I'm Peter Plank.
and we're talking about legacy.
Most of the time. So guys, have you seen the date?
Which I think it's Monday today.
It's-
Yeah,
it's
it's just
Monday.
casual Monday.
Then
right
it's
now.
Friday, there is legacy, there is the pre-day before the European Legacy Masters, and there is the pre-release for Wilds of ELM-draine.
Like happening on almost, kind of the same weekend.
Wait,
Exactly.
That is amazing.
what? So everything is pretty packed up into 2 to 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. At least these cards aren't legal
Yeah.
until they release it for real, so we don't have to worry about anything.
Which
I
is
don't have
actually Friday or Saturday, so everything's legal, boys.
to wait. What?
So, format shaking, player shaking, but the ELM has proxies, everybody can play everything. And with talking about ELM, we actually have a guest right in here. So, Sahar, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, beautiful people. I am Sahar Mirhadi. I am one of the United Kingdom reps and basically doing everything to do with communication and sponsorship for the European Legacy Masters. And yeah, I'm just excited to talk about new cards. That's exciting. And talk about, the event and what we're expecting and sort of, the makeup of what players kind of are coming with. Hopefully we have an idea of what people qualified with now, so hopefully we get an idea of what they might be playing. But obviously Wilds of ELM-draine is legal, similar to the last ELM where the initiative became a hot thing and a bunch of people played sideboard cards for that. I'm hoping this time we'll have some new spicy tech for players at the ELM on Saturday, which is so exciting. Oh my god, it's less than a week.
Oh my god. Before we hop right into this episode, we have to thank our Patreons, Christian Neutz, Matt Duncan, and Moritz Eichmar. Thank you very much for supporting. And now, let's get back to real talk. Sahar, can you tell our listeners about the European Legacy Masters? What is this?
Okay, so it is effectively a way to crown a European Legacy champion. We did want to call it the European Legacy Championship, but there is currently an organising TO who is called the Legacy European Tour. So we called it the European Legacy Masters, and it is effectively a tournament series across 20 different countries, and using the infrastructure of each country and sort of galvanizing the legacy communities in those countries to run events. And then basically it all feeds into this invitational that is happening on the 2nd of September. And yeah, it kind of the two goals obviously is crown a legacy champion, which is kind of cool, but also is to grow legacy locally, and I think that's been the main driver that we've definitely noticed. And certainly price support this year has gone up. It's about 2,000 euros plus a lot of product, so much product that we're giving away. Thank you to our sponsors, Ultimate Guard, 3-for-1 Trading, Card Market, obviously the Inter-Response podcast. Yay!
Sponsor time.
Yeah, sponsor ourselves. Bozza MTG and Bazaar of Boxes. So yeah, it's an amazing project. We've come so far in just over a year. That's terrifying. And yeah, I'm super excited for what people are going to be bringing to the event. We've seen what people have now registered with, so if I know legacy players, some of them love change, and some of them are like, I'm going to play the same deck I've played for 10 years because that's the deck I know, which I love either way. Both of those things are cool.
Maybe what I'm interested in, since you have been part of this project since the beginning, and we kind of had our first iteration last year, which was like a beta version, more or less. But now we have the first real iteration of this Legacy Masters. Was the organizational part, because I mean, we are recording now 1 week before the actual event. Most of the organization has already been done at this point. Has the organization been now easier compared to the first time, or even harder? Or how do you think it compares?
A bit of column A, a bit of column B. I think we have. It has been streamlined in certain ways. We set up a few task forces this year because we recognised certain fields that needed work, things like qualification. Having a qualifying structure has really helped, actually kind of going, here's are your slots, here how you allocate things, because that the way that qualifying events are done, similar to organised play, is through an allocation system, sort of determined around size of community and size of country. So that's really helped streamline things. But as always with everything, when it comes to being a sort of volunteer community driven thing, is that the last month is always the most scrambly, because you're just like, okay, we need to make sure all the events are done so the people are registered. We literally last week decided, it was a big announcement that we're using MTG Melee, which is a miracle, because that will make everything run smoother. So yeah, as much as it has been a bit easier, there has also been things we've noticed moving forward that have been a little bit sticky in terms of like getting stuff done. But all in all, I think we're super impressed. I can also probably give you guys some unofficial numbers on how many events we had. So we had nine international qualifiers, 7 leagues across 7 countries, and 72 events, qualifying events, which were kind of part of the allocation slot. So it's around sort of the 88 event mark, giving away about 100 plus slots. When we're expecting about 105 players, give or take. So yeah, it's insane. I'm like, how many events did we do? That's insane. That's terrifying. That's genuinely terrifying. I'm like, what? And the plan is, I mean, and sort of, those are sort of some initial numbers that are coming out, but sort of average attendance was pretty high. I think total we had like nearly 4 and a bit thousand, maybe close to 5,000 people participate in the ELM through qualifying, which is again insane. You're like, what?
I didn't even know that there were so many legacy players in Europe.
I know, right? I mean, some of them might be crazy. Some of them might be like repeating again.
Yeah.
Someone like Lorenzo.
Exactly. We love them. But yeah, in terms of participation, it was very good, both on a sort of your local community-driven level, but also your big, like, heavy hitter events, like the Four Seasons event, Impact Returns, the Gathering, and things like that.
Yeah, seems like a really good season overall, with like with 9 international slots given away is like really good, which is good that it's over a few countries. And
just for clarification here, international slots mean that there were over 100 players
Correct.
At this event.
That is automatically considered international.
Yeah, they're basically the events that we kind of knew before the start of the season were sort of your destination events across Europe, that could have a qualification structure. So Four Seasons is a good example. Impact Returns is another good example. Or there are events where the TO is pushing for more international attendance. So I'll take the example of like MTG Gons in France. They're really trying to make it like a weekend thing. Same with the Gathering in Birmingham. They're trying to make it as like a destination thing. So it's, whilst we did have events that were sort of, your qualifying event where had over 100 players, these events are actually like a little kind of side pot we have of like, okay, big event that you are running in Europe, please, here you go, have some slots, live your best life.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we can also we have seen that basically ourselves, because we made our own international, well, for Austria thing, qualify for in the name of the ELM that we made.
In the Austrian Legacy
Austrian
Masters.
Legacy Masters, exactly. And we made, just because of all this, we made definitely the biggest legacy tournament in Austria for the last, I don't know, couple of years because of that.
At least the last 10 years, as
Yes.
far as I know, because I'm playing since 2011 and I haven't experienced a bigger legacy tournament like the one we did in the last days of July.
So it really is a big factor that people are willing to come and travel around Europe because of this overall thing, and that's exactly the showing that this project seems to work.
Yeah, just if you think about that, we were capping about 64 people and had 6 different nationalities.
I think even 7.
Or even 7,
Yeah.
It was insane.
That is so insane, and I think certainly across the region, some countries have done very well, like Italy, Germany, Netherlands have done extremely well in terms of like just the numbers. We knew that their communities were very strong, but they came out to us. But also, yourselves, the Polish, there are countries who have really surprised us in terms of like the way they've galvanized their communities together. And then there's some countries who have also, it's taken a while, they've had to like reinvigorate their communities from scratch. Like I take an example with, some of our Eastern European nations, they've had to really like build it from scratch, from like basically nothing. And that's been incredible to see, and just getting that sense of camaraderie together, it's been amazing. And I think for me moving forward, the goal is to really try and help and support those regions, but also help kind of promote. We don't want it to just be, no offense to the bigger countries, we don't want it to just be like 4 countries and that's it. The reason why we have 20 is because we want to celebrate the fact that this is a pan-European thing. And the amount of Americans who are like, can we do it in America? I'm like, what? No, you guys can sort it out yourselves, because that's a whole different... Look, 20 countries is bad enough. Trying to deal with 52 states is a whole different kettle of fish.
Oh my gosh, this is insane.
It's actually insane.
They have so many systems already in place. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And half of them don't talk to each other. You think us, our 20 countries, like, we talk to each other, and we have an active Discord server. The reps are very engaged. The ones who aren't, I usually can get something out of them at least. And sort of my role moving forward is to, with the project, is to be a little bit more strategic, kind of in terms of trying to help the project grow and sort of get sort of sponsors on board and sort of be more commercially focused, but also effectively help kind of underpin some of the stuff that we've already done and sort of, be not administrative, but at least kind of help support the wider function. Whether that's with the, dealing with the reps, communication. I think that's a big key thing for me moving forward, is that, we have processes and comms in place that help both players and reps make sure that the project flourishes for many years to come, when I'm probably more grey, which would be not ideal.
Well, I think, Sahar, you made a fantastic job up to this point, and we're very happy to have you in this project. So
thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My grey hairs will thank you.
Work secured for another year.
I think this ELM will be a fantastic event coming up in Saturday.
And actually, because of the whole Wilds of ELM-draine thing, I can't really have any predictions here right now. I mean, I was taken aghast last year by initiative because I simply hadn't had it on my radar until 2 weeks before, when they released it on MTGO, or 1 week.
It was, I think, 1 week earlier, and the problem was like Peter van der Ham really trained the deck. They built it from scratch in their local group. They tested it. And then it was released on MTGO like 1 week prior. And so they had to get it out. They won the challenge with it. I think another one was like in 2nd place with the deck, because no one had anything against it.
I remember.
But then it was
those,
a known quantity for the ELM, yeah.
I was in those Discord servers when they first popped up. Because effectively, we knew it was coming. And we're like, because I remember when Caves of Chaos Adventurer came, we were like, oh, this is good. We're like, the white one, whatever. And then as soon as I saw J.R. Hamilton, XJ Cloud, and Peter Van der Ham post it, I'm like, everyone get into the server. Everybody get in the server. And it was wild. It was genuinely insane. Just people trying to test for stuff. So yeah, I remember those days. I played a lot of Initiative. It won me many tournaments. So yeah, I think, I'm not sure it's going to be the same level that Initiative was in terms of it kind of side swiping people like it did in the first ELM. But I do think there will be people in that player base who will be testing 2 particular cards that have been spoiled and are coming out. But I don't know what else there is. Knowing the Legacy community, there probably is. And there's possibly some random uncommon I haven't even looked at.
Like some kind of cycling effect or something.
Yes, land cyclers. I heard these land cyclers were good. Why does it say why is it not basic?
Who would have thought that?
Why is it not basic? Why is it not basic cycling?
Yeah.
Why is it not basic land cycling? Why is it island cycling? What is it?
But yeah, the troll is just so great. Oh my god.
Why is
I
it
love the
swamp
troll.
cycling? Why is it not basic land? I mean, it'd still be good as basic land cycling as well, but we digress. But
I mean, if you think about it, would like Lauren revealed with basic land cycling,
Basic island cycling. So,
or only basic land cycling, not only just be insane.
yeah, with basic land cycling it would be insane, but with basic
Depends,
island cycling...
depends the build, but
It's still good,
I think it's yeah.
but only in Blue White Miracles with a light
Oh, the
splash
chess
for
card.
it.
Jessica, pretty much.
is that Phil Black? Are you channeling the soul of Phil Blackman when you talk about miracles?
Yeah.
Like, I love him. He's a good egg.
Yeah, Phil is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like Nicholas Spirits because he's like also with blue white with
He's
a little
Italian.
splash of red.
All the Italians are chess guy. I'm unsure why, because
Tundra
Italians
gamer.
should always be Naya, but yeah.
No, they are Tundra gamers. They are 100% Tundra gamers.
Tundra gamers, yeah.
Okay, so perfect. I think we can start now with the meat and beans of the... Do you say meat and beans? I'm
Meat
not
and
sure.
two veg.
So you mean like
Meat and
Yeah,
two
probably.
veg.
of the episode, and we'll start with the big play in the room, the chords.
a lot of people are thinking, what? There are chords in this set?
Yeah, no, it's set within the commander set or
Okay.
in the commander decks. I'm not sure how the products these days work from Wizards.
So nobody knows. I guess
I only
not even
buy single cards, so I'm unsure.
Not even Wizards knows anymore, I think.
Probably, yeah, with only
At
secret
this
layers.
point, they don't know.
But yeah, we have 5 chords, one for each color.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they all give you the monarch. So actually getting the monarch is something that was always pretty good since its introduction in Conspiracy 2, am I right?
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, I think so. So
But
shall we go over the 5
yeah, maybe.
different...
So, like for the last time, there has also been cycle, I think, right? For the
There was a
first.
chord cycle,
Yeah. And
There were, I think,
two main ones that were played.
They were playable. I think it was the white one, the Court
blue
of
one.
Glory or something, or of Grace.
Court of
Court of Grace and Court of Cunning.
And Court of Cunning, the 3-mana one.
Yes.
It's sometimes seen as a sideboard card.
Yeah, not really impactful or like meta game breaking or whatever, but some good cards that have been played here and there, but not really anymore.
So maybe these cards can also act as a sideboard filler for certain matchup.
The one thing that I want to really bring out here is like cards were often seen like as choices that you can play in control, stuff like that. The Court of Grace, the Court of Cunning mostly for tempo, but Court of Grace usually something that you can play in Miracle style decks. But the problem nowadays is we have a really new printed card. I don't know if you remember it. It's called like Fourth Erlingers, which is like
I've
a
never
source.
played this card. Sahar, have you played Fourth Erlingers?
Many times. Anytime I'm playing the few times I still play Red White Initiative, and not feel like I should not be playing Red White Initiative. I have jammed 4 Feralingus. Also very good in cube. Very good cube card. Please play 4 Feralingus in your cubes. This is not a cube podcast, but I feel like I should talk about it. But yeah, no, I courts are interesting because I liked Court of Cunning. That's been like the main one that has like seen Legacy play over the time it's been legal. As Peter said, as a anti, as like a control card. You put it in your control deck. Delver used to play it when it was like, oh, we're playing against a grindy matchup. Well, I suppose we're going to sit here for 10,000 turns. But if I've got this Court of Cunning, I might win the game. And it was good as a way to fill your graveyard, as a way to stop them drawing the good spells. So I don't think that these courts are as good, but I think a couple of them have applications in Legacy. And I'm kind of excited for that as a sort of an alternative if you feel like you want those effects in your deck, for example. And I think there's only a handful of decks that want them.
Yeah, one card that I'm particularly looking out for is like, and you are a Stompy expert, what do you think about the red one? Because, I mean, it's on the one hand, it's like, it makes a 3/1 token for each turn.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the burn effect is whatever, but the thing is like, it gives you the Monarch, it gives you a token for each turn. I mean, the token has not haste, which would make it really good.
But how does it actually work? Because I guess nobody really knows.
At the beginning of your upkeep, you create a 3/1 red Knight token, and if you are the Monarch, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of creatures you control.
And it gives you the Monarch when it enters the battlefield. Don't forget this.
And it could be the Monarch.
So it's 3/1 and ping, basically.
I mean, the ping is like
delayed ping.
It's
Yeah,
but
I like it. So when this card got spoiled, when Court of Embereth, so Court of Embereth is it's 4 mana. Most of these I think are 4 mana apart from the green one. Yes. Court of Embereth, so we talked about whether it should have haste, and we were like, no, I think that would just be too good. The fact that it makes tokens at every turn, it being free, I wish there were 3/2s. I genuinely wish there were like 3/2s, because of Orcish Bowmasters, yeah. But I think that the issue with 4 mana right now in red Stompy decks, we can talk about other colours in a minute, but red Stompy right now is 4 is a very contested number, because you have like Chaos Adventurer still. So it's like, do you not run Caves and run this instead? Some people still running Aurabrask Forge from Phyrexia All be 1. Those people are not ideal. But the fact that, that also makes tokens, and it's, keeps making tokens every turn, but it accelerates. Which I think if you are, so actually the way I sort of think about this card now, if you are a big red deck, they are different. They are notably different. Mono red Prison, like the OG, like Ensnaring Bridge, Khan, Chandra, like that deck, I think could play something like this. But Moon Stompy, or Blood Moon Aggro as you want to call it, which is like curve out to 3 and have like Fury, that deck, you have to give me a good enough reason to put this card in my sideboard. The deal damage to each opponent is weirdly relevant, because the kind of ceiling on this is you've got a bunch of this card's been down for a couple of turns against like control, and you've got like three creatures, maybe like 5 or 6. They take 6. Like that's like against control. It kind of goes a bit doolally, because they've got a prismatic ending it for 4, or they hydroblast it. That's the other concern with something like this as well, is that they just hydroblast. It's same with like Chandra Awakened Inferno, back in the day. So I think shout out to El Tinto, who's one of the 5 people who are still trying to make Moon Stompy work and make content for it. We're going to try it once it's available, and we're basically just going to swap Caves of Chaos Adventure for it, see if it's good enough so we can see it and test it. But I think it's probably, if I think Control was going to be the only deck I play against, I'll probably put it in. But it also, doesn't. If it was to creatures, I don't know, like opponents' creatures, like each opponent and creatures. I mean, like especially with 4 Feralingus being in control sideboards now, like Fiery Confluence is just better. But I want to test it. Like it's 4 mana. Also double red. Like weirdly, the other challenge is double red is actually not as easy to cast in Mono Red Prison as people think it is. You'd be surprised how little red you can make. Just like, but I am excited about the black one. The black one is the one I'm like, ooh.
Okay, really? Wow.
What does this card do?
So
You at the beginning of your upkeep, you exile the top card of your opponent's library, and you may play it as long as it's remain exiled. And if you're the Monarch, you may play one of the exiled cards for free this turn.
Okay. But you still, besides all that, you can play the exiled cards at any time?
yeah.
And you can use mana of any type to cast it.
So it's
Okay.
the FIFA Sanity effect from if you play FIFA
Yeah.
Sanity. These effects, so the one deck I'm going to actually suggest it in is in that mono black Helm deck, as a way to like imagine again. Like I'm not saying you're ever going to cast this. I mean, you may cast this against Reanimation. Your matchup is already so good, but I like this as a way of like catching, like if you're catching some stuff to do it. Like I mean, that deck doesn't need any help, but I feel like that's a slot where this card can. That deck is a slot that this card could go into. It's don't this kind of effect, especially like if you're the Monarch and trying to play stuff for 3. Like we've seen how good Doffy Voidwalker is at just like going, you know what? Give me this exact. I want that. I don't. Whatever it is, I want it. And that's sort of this effect here. So I think. Again, I don't know if it's going to be good enough, but I do like it. And then, I mean, this is kind of like order of what I think is actually good. I think the black one has got like fringe playability. The green one, there has to be a good creature. I want to talk to like some Maverick experts and be like, if this is good, but like, how many times are you going to put 2 target creatures on the board in green? Like maybe Zenith, like. Oh, it's up 2. Oh, it's up 2. Yeah, okay. So you can make a. Oh, okay. You have to come back to your turn though. This is the grim. It's. I'd be intrigued if again Maverick is so tight on its slots. The kind of green creature decks are sort of it's challenging for them right now, but it's this helps. This does help, and them drawing a card is obviously like get them to draw cards. That's obviously very good. I like it. It being 3 mana is where I'm like, ooh, say it's 3 mana, Dave.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a very very.
Yeah, it's like the Court of Cunning of the set kind
Yeah.
of because they had like
Wow.
one of the 3 mana ones in each.
Yeah,
And
only in terms of mana cost, but not in terms
only in
of
terms
effect.
of mana
Yeah,
cost.
Maybe
maybe
in
it could
terms of effect.
spawn something like a tier X or tier 10, something like that. A mono green.
This does win you.
Like Stomp in the old days.
Yeah, like just
Dino
like
Stompy.
aggro. So this does
Aggro
win the
Stompy,
game.
yeah.
Court of Garenbrig
Yeah.
does win the game if left unchecked though.
Yeah, of course.
Like
Yeah,
this.
because you have the card draw, and you play enough creatures to keep the monarch
Yeah.
actually, and they're getting bigger and bigger each time.
Yeah.
I mean, this card plus something like this, how's it called, Ravenous Badger or something, the 1/1 that is trample. Doesn't sound that bad actually.
But I think we might come back to it because like
That's a card for Gino. That's a
these
card for
cards
Gino.
are mostly
It is a card for
fringe
Gino, actually,
playable. It's like the white one doesn't really have any applications in my opinion because
It's
like
a Death and Taxes card, and I don't even think the Death and Taxes
Yeah,
community
and-
want to play this card.
yeah, because it's like an enchantment, you can't tutor it up. It's like yeah, the blue one is like for Enchantress, but yeah,
So
I mean
you say that there is a weird application for Court of Ardenvale because it's return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand, and if return to battlefield instead.
yeah.
It's I'm not standstill as like a tier 0, like tier 7 deck, but like The only decks that like, if someone is playing Enlightened Shooter, the 4 people that still play Enlightened Shooter, I think there could be potentially a thing for Standstill. I don't think it's good, but if it brings back like your lands, or it brings back your Urza Saga to your hand or onto the battlefield every upkeep, like that's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Or also we've seen the stuff that we could do with Sam and like bringing stuff back, like bringing back a Wasteland every turn. But I don't know if I want to pay 4 mana to do that. I'm just saying that is a way. Like there is applications.
It's delayed. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like it's delayed. Like the only deck I would see it in is potentially like something like a Standstill deck, which has run like Enlightened Shooter. But again, that's like the only deck I would see this in.
Maybe something like an Urza Saga Stompy list.
Yeah, but even then, you've got better things to do with your mana. Like, even that white deck.
You have 4 mana to use, and you want to use it to rebuy a Saga, but before you may have gone for the Saga to it triggered, you got then like Expedition Map and stuff, then you have another Saga, you have cards in your hand too, and the problem is
unless you're really not playing some really value permanent cards, if you're just focusing on lands, this is just a Crucible world with extra steps.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So not really sure if you really want to kind of use it for I don't know, 3 mana permanents to bring back, I don't know, your Flicker Wisps or whatever, your recruiters, or I don't know, Teferi.
Teferi recruiter.
But I still think for control versions,
yeah,
you really want to play just 4 Lingers. You can pump in the mana. It also gives you the Monarch, it presents you on the board immediately, put some threat on your opponent, and you can get it back with Mystic Sanctuary, so it's just a better card.
Yeah, in response, we are 4th Lingers fanboy.
Yeah, in response, crack my fetch, get Mystic Sanctuary, put it back on top. I'll do it again. I know.
Do it again.
I know, right?
That's so good.
There is one other card. Sorry to slightly derail you boys. From the Commander set that is which is I saw, and I don't know if it's good, which is Loam Crafter Fawn. It is a 3 mana 3/3. I'll read it out for the viewers. When it enters a battlefield, you may discard 1 or more land cards. Emphasis on land cards. When you do, return up to that many target non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Now, rummaging is like having a regrowth, or effectively like Eternal Witness, in green. I mean, we have Eternal Witness, but like I feel like I don't know if this is a lands card, but it's like I look at it and I'm like, you can discard like a I'm thinking like Depths or something. You discard like a land you don't need, and then you get back your Minskamboo because it died, or you get back your Knight of the Reliquary to your hand. Like my brain just is like activate. I'm like, this is quite some powerful stuff.
Like for Maverick or Agrolome?
Yeah, something like that. Like it feels like it's because it's land cards. It's not basics. Yeah. It's land cards. So you put your
land cards. Yeah.
If you've drawn fetches you don't need anymore, you've drawn like cards that are good in your graveyard, or you just extra copies of Grove of the Burn Willows. I'm just thinking of examples right now. And I'm not saying it's an early play thing, but it's a sort of you draw
late game kind of
It's a grindy card. I looked at it. I don't know if it's good for 3 mana. I think there's better things you could be doing at 3 mana, but I think for like Loam, it's you can have something, whereas like you can have that. But yeah, I don't know if it's good, but I saw it and I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. In terms of
agreed.
But yeah, again, I just like the fact that you can discard your lands, and then say you have a Crucible of Worlds, you can just pick them up, just like
absolutely
do it again, or make your Knight of the Reliquary a little bit bigger. Just say it.
Yeah, I mean they can tutor it with Crimson Zenith, so
yeah,
as a one-off.
Yeah. Another to the target for.
Another green sun target. Woohoo!
As if there aren't enough already.
Yeah, but I think that the main part for this card should be in a deck that plays Life from the Loam, because with Life from the Loam you have so much consistency of having additional land cards in your hand.
Yeah.
For Maverick, it kind of feels like for a non-Maverick player, like this card has kind of only be applicability for the games where you completely flood out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like on the one hand, Light of the Reliquary really thins out the deck. You have like Average Reclaimer that also puts out land from the deck into play. So it's like, I mean, it can have some applications, but I personally would say it's more something like for not. Yeah, mostly aggro. I don't really think it's something that lands can play. No. I mean, on the one hand, you can like dredge for 1 million when you have like 2 loams, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just I find it interesting. Like, it's one of these cards that I was like, huh, that's cool. I like that design. I like it as a design thing as well. Like, but yeah, the main set though are, firstly, small side note. There are 2 good otters in the set. We're not going to talk about them today, but people who are listening to this, go find the 2 good otters in Wilds of ELM-draine. Elusive Otter and Frolicking Familiar. These are the 2 good otter friends of the set. I love otters.
Okay, we can just
give me the first card. I have idea. I think I know what the first one's going to be. Is it a black card by any chance? It's a good black card.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm not sure.
No, we were talking a little bit about the otter.
I
want to know what it does.
It's basically it's cute.
Otter?
It's elusive otter. Sorry, I derailed you a little bit because it's just really cute.
Yeah, the elusive otter is like it has an adventure where it can pump a creature. Basically, I mean, you put +1/+1 counters on any number of target
and then
creatures
it's a
you control.
1/1 with prowess that you can. Creatures are powerless, can't block it. Again, I don't think it's a good like legacy. I don't know. Like, I love these kind of cards though. Every time I look at this, I'm like, did you say prowess on a 1-drop? Oh, baby, let's go.
It's always great.
Yeah, and then Frolicking Familiar has the flying, the wizard thing when you can, whenever you cast an instant sorcery.
Oh my god, it has a hat.
That's what I mean. It's a good otter with a hat.
It's an otter wizard. It's Harry Otter.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I will be wanting to buy some foil ones of these cards because I love otters. There is a good cat of the set, but I can't remember what the card is. But yeah, these 2 very, very good cards. But they are not for Legacy. Although I might try play Elusive Otter in Legacy once.
I mean, the otter kind of seems fine in some.
I would
It's
not
like
expect it.
Look, I want to.
I mean, you can play FNM with it and then just forget about the deck because it just isn't good. But it was fun for 4 rounds.
I've always wanted to see if Miracle Grow is a thing in Legacy, and it's never been good enough. And I'm like, why?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Sadness.
But that's what pre-modern is for.
Exactly.
I would say, yeah. Let's see what cards potentially could be interesting for Legacy. Let's say.
Yeah, and this one is from me. So.
Oh wow.
I actually forgot about that this existed because.
This is good.
Yeah, it's not really.
You might have to explain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really that impactful, but it's Likeness Looter. It's for 1 blue and a black. It's a creature fairy shapeshifter. It's a 1/1 with flying. Tap, draw a card and discard a card, so it's a looter. And it has, for X, Likeness Looter becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X, except it has flying and this ability, activate only as a sorcery. So, the thing is here, you can pair this with a Rexian Dreadnought.
Yeah.
But it dies to Orcish Bowmasters.
Yeah, but I just
really
wanted to say,
bad time for
I
it
wanted to say, Philip,
it's a 1/1.
you kind of lost me at 1/1.
Well, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I mean, I'm unsure, is La Sahar a 1/2 or something?
I actually think
it's
so.
2/2.
No, I think
Or a
it's
1/2.
But it's a legendary, and in my opinion, okay, I forgot about Bowmaster for a second, but if there wasn't for Bowmaster, I could see...
It's a 1/3.
It's a 1/3. I could see this.
Like for Dreadnought.
Yeah, I can see this being better than Lazar. It's not legendary, and it has inbuilt
it's
invasion.
more like inbuilt additional Lazars, personally. Because you really want to have a lot of those effects to use the Graveyard a little bit more. And yeah.
And you can copy an Uro with this.
You
It's an
can
interesting
copy an
option, I would say.
Uro, that is true.
And
Yeah.
a flying Uro isn't that bad, actually.
Yeah.
And then it's not a 1/1 and dice.
Yeah, like the,
Suddenly it's a 6/6 that
yeah,
draws you a card.
the 1/1 is in our current world is not ideal, but I do like it as firstly as a Dreadnought thing is very cool, but I think also just it being good in the blue-black deck as like another thing to, like, if you get into 6 mana, you can copy Troll with this. Just saying, you can copy a Troll. Not saying if you haven't hit your reanimate.
Then it's flying and have the
Super Menace.
Super Menace.
Super duper menace. It's a cool card. I think
Wow.
it's basically Baleful Strix of extra steps is the way I think about this card. You get the looting effect sort of continually, but you don't have Death Touch. But yeah, let's people try it. But yeah, X1s in a Orc world is not ideal.
But
Okay.
I think we get onto the bean and meat now. And it's
To
like
the real cards.
Yeah.
to the real
We
cards.
actually have 2 of them.
And one is Up the Beanstalk, which is an enchantment for 1 green and 1 generic mana. And it says an ETB where it draws a card. And whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, like Force of Will, you draw additionally a card.
But it's actually only a Force of Will. I mean,
Yeah.
Solitude.
playing.
Leyline
Okay,
Binding.
Okay,
Lord.
Oh,
yeah,
Leyline Binding, yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't follow about these.
Hold on. I think there was on Twitter or X, if you want to call it now.
There was one player that actually plays for Austria in the ELM that will play this card because he's playing Yorion 5-color control.
I mean, don't give it away.
As if all the
I mean,
opponents
he
are
posted
listening.
it on
Yeah.
Twitter, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he plays it for the ELM, but he said like, I mean, if you have a Yorion, it triggers off of Yorion
Yeah.
that you draw a card.
You can flick it.
Then you flick it, then it is put again.
For
into
2 for
play.
2 for
And
5
then
mana. Woo!
It's like a really nice flicker target.
It
Yeah,
is
it's
a-
really nice.
Yes. Okay. So here is my
Flyer.
opinion on Up the Beanstalk. This is.
Then you can cast
Let's
4 Fellingas for
Yeah,
5.
let's-
You can ask for sure. You can cast all these cards that you have. Okay, so this card, I feel like only the control mages are losing their like proverbial minds with it. Niklas Hotman. I can name and shame them. It's fine. Anurag Das, Mark Voigt, Niklas. All these guys. I love them all. But I do think that this feels like a card that is a bit win more. It does replace itself, but so does Sylvan Library, and Sylvan Library draws you more cards. It also only hits about maybe like a third to 40% of your deck. Like, how many 5-drops realistically are in Legacy apart from like Force of Will and maybe like Solitude? Like 4 Feralingus, like sure, like I can see that, but like you have to be in green. So if you're going to be in green, you have to play 4C or, you know, and who, like, honestly, 4C control is, yes, you have 4 Feralingus, but you're not, there isn't a lot of decks that are in like base green right now. Everyone's either in Jeskai or like they're just all the colors. Like if it was 4 or less, I'd be like sure. But 5 is a lot of mana. And if you're just going, oh, this will maybe hit my Force of Will, like will draw me a card on my Force of Will, I'm like, cool. You can draw cards
Yeah.
other
I also
ways.
would think Sylvan Library just seems better.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I can see it specifically for the deck style that Niklas plays, because he has, like, I think, like 3 or 4 Fairlingas, he will for sure play 2 to 3 Leyland Bindings and the playset Force of Will. You can play a Gigantamaxed, basically Prismatic Ending. So you have like a few of those cards, and especially with like Yorin as your companion, I can see the application where it doesn't cost you life compared to the Sylvan Library, especially something like the faster decks that you don't really want to spend the 3 life, because like 3 life less is most of the time 4 life less.
Yep.
It's like most of the time a turn off the clock with something like the Troll.
Of course, yeah.
So I can see the Nabru as like Niklas plays in 5-color control, but for most decks it kind of seems hard. And I think like Mark is also moving in a little bit of the direction that Niklas plays.
Yeah, like I joked about this on Twitter, but it is honestly control players trying to feel something 2023 edition. Because well, they have like this is the thing. It's like I can see it. It is a good application, but 5 mana is so much, and it hitting like some time. If you think you are getting to 5 mana and you are going to be consistently hitting 5 drops into the late game, sure, play 2. It will work. But if in control you're happy to pay 2 mana to draw a card, then play this card.
I mean, you have to see the control mirrors themselves prismatic ending X4 their opponent's carpet of flowers just to draw another card.
I mean, it's true.
Like
That's the thing that I definitely like I remember Mark Voigt posting about this last week of like forcible leyline binding. I'm like, sure, draw a card when you cast your best spells. Like that's honestly how I feel about this card. I feel like this card is just a win more card, and I don't think that this card wins you the game. Like honestly,
but I think we have like the perfect weekend to have a look if this card really will shine ahead of us.
There's so many control mages.
Yeah, exactly. So we can actually just have a look.
I will eat humble pie. I will eat my humble pie if this card is actually exceptional, and I will put my. I will not be. I will not be proud. I will just be like, okay, we have a 2 mana enchantment that draws a card that is a legacy power level card.
Actually, I'm also a little bit on the same level here as you, and I really like that even the flavor text of this card says it's not so bad.
It's not so bad. That's how it basically is. It's not so bad. It's not so good. But it's not so bad. But yeah.
Yeah, it seems something that you really have to work for to get the value off. But maybe it's enough. Yeah. Maybe it's not. We will see on the weekend.
Exactly.
But one thing that we can be for sure, it has the value in it, and it contains a mirror, and yeah, it's the best bargain card of the new set. It's Besiege the Mirror, where you can search a library for a card, exile it face down, and then shuffle your library. If the spell was bargained means you have to sacrifice a token or an artifact.
Yeah, or enchantment.
Or an enchantment. When casting the spell, you can cast the spell for free if the mana value is 4 or less, and 4 is like the dream mana curve of like Storm with Empty the Warrens, Tendrils, Past in Flames,
and Besiege the Mirror.
Yes, this is my favorite one.
And the thing is, have you seen Jax's
Turbo bargain? Yeah, I've seen Jax's table. Yeah,
no line.
It's all the it's a secret. Yeah. It's the lines. There's so many lines.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so. Oh fuck! I love it.
It's kind of frightening because there's a lot of lines that can win really consistently and deterministically on turn 1 with only 4 mana and a couple of let's say artifacts, 0 mana artifacts that you can bargain actually. So and depending on how, I mean, certainly this will be a very good Storm card in one way or another.
Yeah, it needs
There's
help.
a lot of different. Yeah, it needs some. Or the perfect shell, I don't know. is it more like TES or more like Ant or more like Black Saga Storm? These are like the three main directions you can go.
My main thing with this card, I think this card's very good. I think the challenge with this card is, okay, Jax's original thing of like the whole Gaia's Will thing, basically make your own Yawgmoth's. Okay, yeah, Yawgmoth's powerful magic card. Who knew? So, anyone who's played Vintage will tell you that card is very, very good. So yeah, like of course doing that line is pretty powerful, but I also go, this is a kind of the thing with Storm right now is it's so easily, it's got so much hate. It has there are so many things that stop this card doing anything. Like as a Prism player, I look at this card going, great, you'll win game one. You'll probably win game one, because like you just go like Chalice on 0, Chalice on 1, or Blood Moon. They literally have to have like. Don't get me wrong, Jax's sequencing does scare me a little bit as a Prism player, but I also go, hey, here's a Trinisphere. Sure, you have literally you have some mana. Congratulations. But I can say that as a Stompy player, but also this like the. I think it will be tested, but I don't know if it is as good or it completely replaces Ad Nauseam. I can also see this in like something in a bit bigger version with like getting One Ring. Like One Ring is like, it's weird. One Ring is such a powerful like artifact for like Legacy, but it still hasn't found a home. But like this being One Ring copies 5 to 8 is pretty scary.
The cool thing is you can bargain away the big ring and getting a new one. So
exactly.
I haven't thought about this intention. This is really insane.
It's in Mono Black Stompy, kinda, or even like Leyland Helm. It could see some play, but then you have to watch the artifact count and stuff like that. But when you have like a Leyland out, you can besiege the mirror for either, or the Helm out, you can besiege for the other copy. So it's like,
The bargain, it's going to be interesting how good the bargain is, how well you can set up your sequencing so you can always bargain.
I think there's a lot of, as you mentioned, there's a lot of hate for Storm, let's say. There's a lot of, for example...
Insane amount of hate against Storm.
I mean, there's like the bad version for this kind of effect would be something like Meltdown, of course. But if you're facing, let's say, a Null Rod or whatever, or a Collective or whatever, random thing, or Deafening Silence, you still have your artifacts in play or in hand. And sometimes Storm... just need some to dig to kind of an answer piece to bounce or to destroy one of these hate pieces and then go off. And if you have a bunch of artifacts already in play and you need to deal with a Null Rod, then this card actually seems like a good way out, and then that enables like a fast combo win when you get to remove the Null Rod, for example. Or even, for this card, you don't even need to remove necessarily Null Rod because you still can sacrifice your artifacts, for example. So there's a lot of lines, or I think it lowers the cost that you need to have in order to go off, because you need lower mana, like the lines that we saw from Jax proposed.
I think you need 2 less or something.
Yeah, 4 mana. There's like lines that you only need 4 mana, which means about 1 or 2 cards less needed for Storm deck.
Previously it was 7.
Yeah, for example, 7 would be like one of the magical numbers that Storm needed to reach. So this being cut down is pretty big, but of course you need to have the artifacts now. So it's kind of a trade-off. So, but I personally, as I'm very much into Storm, I'm a little bit Storm aficionado. I'm very excited for this card. I definitely want to try it.
All the Storm players I know are excited by this card, but I feel that it is a very distinctive hoop that you have to jump through as Storm players to get the bargain cost, because the 4 mana search card, exile it face down, then shuffle isn't good. Although saying that, like, I'm generally trying to think, like, the only application I can think is like. What was it? It's like Food Chain, but Food Chain doesn't play black. Also triple black. I know it's Dark Ritual mana. But you have to, like, the other thing as well, I mean, the hate is the hate and we can deal with that, but all of Jax's lines fall to Daze Enforceable really badly. Like, which I mean, it's a contract you make when you sign up to play Tendrils of Agony. This is the world we live in. But I think it'll be interesting to see practically if the hoop of having a permanent 2 sacrifice is a jump too far, or because you have those artifacts, enchantments, or tokens that you can do that without it being an issue.
Yeah, one kind of the decks that also were floating around are like with playing a playset Duress and a playset of Thought Seizers. So you have like a lot of the discard to force out either the Whale of Summer up front or the Dazes, the Force of Wills. So you can really slow down and try to combo on turn 2 or even turn 3 to consistently play around Daze. And 4 mana is like not much actually.
No.
So you can play with 5 mana with
you can
with
wait
the
a
deck
turn
because like Dark Ritual is 5, so you're playing around Daze, for example. So it will be interesting. But I kind of feel that the card is really strong. Actually.
Yes, and I think like when you look at the different Storm decks that are currently existing, that the one that stands out would be Black Saga Storm, obviously, because it has a lot of artifacts. And also what I like is that you can just, for example, if you don't have any artifact, you can just sacrifice your Saga, because you can also bargain this.
That is true. But sacrificing the Saga is like actually quite a hot tech.
Of course.
Which is so or even like a construct token. Like these are like the application around it. Preslav, I can never remember his surname. One of the German players played this deck with Tony when it was like becoming a whole thing, and obviously did well at 4 seasons with it. So I think it'll be interesting. But I am not a combo expert, so I look at this card and I'm like, cool, that's 4 mana. It's cool. That's 4 mana worth of cardboard that you're spending.
Yeah, I think it will be quite interesting. Also, with drawing multiples, it doesn't actually seem that bad.
No.
Because
no,
I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with those. Like previously with tutoring up an additional like Dark Ritual, or now you can just 4 mana, pass the turn, you got yourself a Forces. Next turn. And what I'm really will be looking out for is how many players actually will Force of Will besiege the mirrors that weren't bargained, because this is like
it's like forcing an Infernal tutor that has not Hellbent.
It's like I have to counter the card because like they can play it for 3, but bargaining has to be paid up front. And
Like Natural Order, right? Yeah,
it's part of the cost.
It's the natural order of spells.
Also mana cost is pretty.
Again, this is
says it all.
I think this is the best card for Legacy in the set. Like I think I think we can say that confidently. I will be intrigued. Better Storm Minds can break it, but I think it will just be a nice addition. Like Mind's Desire is a nice addition to Storm players losing their absolute minds and losing a lot of play points online trying to make Storm work in our year in Lore 2023. Cool. Well, there's some exciting cards.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we will certainly see how the meta shakes up. So Sahar, one last question for you, because
of course,
you aren't there as far as I know at the European Legacy Masters.
Sadness on the stack. I am not there this weekend. I am at a wedding because I'm an adult. My husband's best friend is getting married, so I will not be there, but I will be following along where I can. But I have been told by the co-chairs to enjoy the wedding I'm at.
Oh wow! So you don't hop on the stream.
Yeah, so I don't hop on stream or anything like that. But I will be keeping an eye on it before the proceedings start. So I'll probably check in on the early rounds, make sure that it's running beautifully and stuff like that. But I have every faith that you guys will make an amazing show, and lots of prizes to give out and kind of hype it up, because it's going to be great. So
Yeah, we'll hope so. So, what's your prediction for the ELM? What do you think will be the best deck, or which decks are on the top tables?
lands lands because it's proxy friendly. Doomsday.
Okay.
And a blue-black deck, whether that's Scam or Shadow.
Yeah, seems pretty reasonable. For sure.
I would agree. For me, kind of the one that I would put on top of all those is blue-black, but just the Scam version. I think this is the best deck in the format.
I think it's just 5-color control with up the beanstalk, but
Yeah.
we will see.
We shall see.
I think it's just Mardu.
It's besieged the
Mark,
mirror
doing
storm,
it?
actually.
I mean,
I think it's
a good.
blue-black would be as a good contender, but good.
Yeah.
The blue-black pilots need to be literally the best blue-black pilots. You can't have your
Yeah.
you can't have someone pick up blue-black like a week before the event. They need to be like an actual blue-black pilot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That deck is insanely hard.
yeah,
to play right.
it hurts my head. Anorak tried to play Shadow once on stream, and he just looked at it and was like, "I never want to play Shadow ever again. I never want to play Shadow again. It hurts my head. I can't do it. It hurts my head. Give me a Stompy every day of the week." I also, if there is, I wouldn't be surprised if Initiative does turn up, like the red-white version. It won the challenge on Sunday. I've chatted to the guy about it. That also might do well because it's also got a decent blue-black matchup.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's amazing.
Never underestimate Initiative, actually. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. But yes, those are my predictions.
So, and one last thing to talk about here is about the stream at European Legacy Masters, because we have a nice little announcement to make.
Yes.
So, join us on the European Legacy Masters stream, because we are part of the casting crew of the European Legacy Masters, and actually, when this episode airs, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
So if you have listened to this episode, hopefully, and you can't get enough of us, also make sure to hop into the stream.
Of the three handsome boys.
Three handsome lads. Yeah, I can't. I'm so happy for you guys to be involved in the coverage of the whole thing. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
So.
we paid for our slot, but
We rocked up.
Get silent for Peter. We shouldn't talk about this.
But yeah.
no.
We never paid any kind of money.
No, it's all done. It's all done with love.
Yeah, with love.
But yeah, I wish you the best. I wish you the best, boys. You're gonna have a great time. And I will be cheering on from the wings, being the best hype person I can on the socials, waving my
you
good
have
flag.
to watch it on the next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, make sure you get some rest.
And don't forget to download it, because Four Seasons are always don't put their things onto YouTube. So
Yeah.
actually, for anyone, watch it in the week, at least in the week afterwards. Because
We will be-
sometimes it just disappears.
Yeah, we hopefully might be able to get some of the gameplay afterwards, but yeah, that can be discussed. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing show. I'm really excited. There's going to be really cool decks. There's some really exciting players. I think notable hot shot players is Andrea Mengucci, Mark Tobias. You know, these are your big hitters. So watch out. But yeah, I hope that we have someone who is your just regular local player, like Samuel Sajarak last year, who won it, who was basically unknown.
Yeah.
Or Samuel win it back to back. That also is a great story.
Oh yeah, that would be insane.
That would be insane. So yeah, I wish everyone the best, and may the best player win. Basically.
Yeah, getting the crown of Europe.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we can conclude the episode here. So if you like what we are doing, consider following us on our social medias @response_legacy pretty much everywhere. You can find me on Twitter. It's @FinnickMTG, PHINDKMTG. Sahar, where can we find you on
where
social
can't
media?
you find me right now? So I'm Sahar Mirhadi on Twitter. I also have a YouTube channel called The Legacy Gambit, where we do gameplay video, which is legacy content that is meant to be fun and accessible for players coming back into the format or learning the format. And yeah, so that's @The Legacy Gambit. On YouTube. Follow us. We're doing a bunch of cool content and a bunch of cool interviews with the good minds of Legacy. We just did a video with Jarvis Yu about mana bases and deck building and how you should be probably playing more land than you already are. Always play
Well,
more
we're all
land
speaking on
folks.
land.
Play always more land folks. But yeah, so it's a super cool thing. But yeah, other than that, Sahar Mirhadi on the internet. You can hear me before you see me most of the time.
And Peter, where can we find you on social media?
It's on x.com. It's
Oh yeah.
at Unicorn Lord, but the O in the Lord is a 0. And what about you, Flying
I
Aberration?
have no idea what you're talking about. I refuse to call it X. It's Twitter.
Yeah.
You can find me there. I'm at Flying Delver, and together with, of course, my 2 co-hosts, you can find me and us this weekend in Bologna, in the casting area, or just around on the venue. Come say hi, whatever. Hang up.
Yeah, get
and-
something signed if you want. I mean, wouldn't be the first time that we have done
Yeah.
this, yeah.
For example. Yeah.
And we are also doing some interviews during the day at the European Legacy Masters, so feel free to hit us up. You can always see us at our shirts.
Yeah.
We will have our
So
own
we're
merch
the
on.
guys with the shirts.
We're the guys with the
Yeah,
response shirts. So yeah.
the guys. Also, you'll hear Peter and Phil. Like, you can hear me, but you can hear Peter and Phil in a room as well. So just hear some loud Austrian men. You'll find them. Don't worry. They are homing pigeons in the area, so you'll find them. Don't worry. But yeah, guys, I'm so sad I'm not seeing you guys. But yeah, you guys are gonna have an amazing time. Give away all the stuff we've got. Give away all the stuff from Ultimate Guard that we've got. Just give it away. Give it to people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so much stuff. Not like that, but just like Phil was doing the hand dollar waving thing for people listening. But yeah,
With sleeves.
the sleeves, just dollar. Yeah, it's gonna be super. Yeah,
Sleeves for
the
everyone.
sleeves for everybody. I mean, the participants are getting like. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the prizes. The prizes are on the website, EuropeanLegacyMasters.com. But yeah, cool. Thank you for having me, guys. I had a lovely time.
Yeah.
It was great to have you on.
Yeah. Thank
you
you
very
also.
much.
No worries.
And
See you later, guys.
I think we can conclude the episode here.
In response, the end.
This was In Response, a Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed the ride, feel free to support the show by following, leaving a review, or subscribe on patreon.com/response_legacy.
Boy-
It all started with Angelo.
Boys, I need to go to the loo. Can I just pause for a second? I need to go to the loo really badly. Can I just pause for a second? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
It's all right. I was like holding it in. I'm like, no, I know my body well enough now. Let me go to the loo. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah, for sure.
It comes with age, yeah, we know.
Maybe we start with the
Cut this
casting.
bit.
No, we leave this in.